Julie Klausner. Wrap things up for Old Hollywood.
I'll do it. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you, Max Silvestri, for finding that photo of Edward G. Robinson in a bathtub. Ladies and gentlemen, I am sick to my stomach, and not just because I have moments earlier eaten a dozen raw eggs backstage for the fuck of it. By the way, one thing about The Matrix. I tried watching The Matrix. You want to shut that off, maybe? Thanks. One thing about The Matrix. I tried watching it in college when we hadn't figured out how to make pot brownies yet. I mention this because you don't sprinkle it over the... Anyway. I fell asleep immediately, and it wasn't the pot. As we barrel toward awards season, it has come to my attention that the only people we have left to give Golden Globes or Oscars to are former beauty pageant contestants, Disney starlets, internet celebrities, and tween cutters. Now, don't get me wrong about cutting. Self-abuse, whether it's dying with a secret or taking pills into your dead, is a sacred part of show business history. But let's look for a moment at Demi Lovato, because apparently she exists. And if Twitter is to be believed or believed, she is famous. Now, Demi Lovato's real name is Demetria Devon Lovato, because parents of young Hollywood name their children with multiple alliterative names like they are mouth-breathing stutterers. Kris Jenner, I'll get to you in your trash face and garbage neck in a minute. So Demi Lovato is known and loved by homeschooled teenagers with bad taste, from starring roles in the film Camp Rock, as well as for playing the role of Sunny Monroe in the Disney sitcom Sunny with a Chance, as well as for starring in the 2009 movie Princess Protection Program. Now, her real claim to fame is that at one time in real life, she guided a Jonas Brothers semi-erect golden brown fish stick of a penis into her unnecessarily waxed pubic triangle for as long as it took for her to get kicked off the Jonas Brothers tour. And then she started cutting herself and purging stomachs full of half-digested pinkberry into turlets. The good news is that she is fine. But the bad news is that if any of the nouns in the preceding paragraph I just used made no sense to you and sounded like blah, 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 walksies, like when a dog hears a person in the Far Side, then you're in good shape. But if they do make sense to you, we have a problem. And the problem lies with young celebrities such as Demi Lovato, Khloe Kardashian. I have no problem with the other two. Tila Tequila and Michelle Williams. And yes, fine, Michelle Williams was fine as Marilyn Monroe in My Dinner with Andre, the Marilyn Monroe week. But wasn't that film just the latest minstrel show that new Hollywood produces to evoke feelings of fondness towards a better time that is gone? Whenever young actresses from present day dress up like dead movie stars that actually had that special thing, whether it's called razzmatazz or just a set of knockers that would make your gay cousin salute the flag with his own erection, it becomes a depressing exercise in contrast, wherein a feeble, pixie-ish, perfectly serviceable, but by no means intentionally or internationally devastating young actress gets to dress up in big girl clothes and pretend to be a star during a time in which we actually had them. And must I mention Blue Valentine? And how that movie caused me to self-cut in a Lovato-y sort of way. All I will say is that I've seen more convincing muff diving on tubegalore.com under the spring break category, which is the worst category. Back to new and old Hollywood. Am I looking forward to seeing Michael Douglas dressed up in full gay face to play Liberace? More than anything. Did I gape at those Lindsay Lohan photos in the last issue of Playboy wherein she aped an iconic spread of Marilyn Monroe and had a graphic designer Photoshop all of her freckles, tattoos, nipples, pubic hair, arm flab, under eye shadows, breast droop, skin translucence, cocaine bloat, pill residue, split ends, and the fleshy imprint around her ears where Samantha Ronson's headphones would once made an impression.
Did they really Photoshop out all of her nipples? I think they left 2.
All 6 of them.
All of them.
She's like a dog.
Oh, man.
I did see those photos, and while I was looking at them, I heard that sad music from those Sarah McLachlan ASPCA ads playing in my head the whole time, because that's how depressing those photos were. My point is, we are in an age in which nothing original is good, and everything that tries to be great shadows an era during which quality culture was manufactured. What are the good shows and movies now? Retro dramas, Mad Men, Downton Abbey, The Artist. Each depict an era during which quality culture was manufactured. And yes, women were regarded as property, blacks considered in the same thought as cattle, to say nothing of Puerto Ricans. But the golden age of Hollywood was indeed time during which Jews, glorious Jews, were still at the helm of the entertainment business. And I'm talking about cigar-chomping, pastrami guzzling, decision-making Jews who said things like, "Let's make a picture and you're dead to me if you go to Dartmouth." Oh boy, did my monster ancestors know what the fuck they were doing. Those Jews made Harvey Weinstein look like Tyra Banks. They made stars out of people with star power. Gloria Swanson, Cary Grant, Gene Kelly, Gary Talent, Melissa Gorgeous. People with talent, trained in vaudevillian trickery, whose DNA, when paired with antiquated cosmetic surgery, would look beautiful under lights. Finally, I would like to end this speech as I end all speeches with an appreciation of older gay men. As you may or may not know, queenish gentlemen over 40 are the most precious resource our planet has to offer. Now that China is barreling through fossil fuels like the ozone layer is some kind of female baby they want to destroy. Gay men are fun, smart, kind. They tell filthy jokes. They're so mean, it's hilarious. And none of them are without at least 10 great stories about Elizabeth Taylor during her fat period. I can't think of a single drag queen, with the exception of Courtney Stodden, who gives a shit about, say, Jessica Biel or Rooney Mara or Kerry Russell. I'm too bored to finish the list. My point is, please, for the sake of the brave men who've survived AIDS, discrimination, Rick Santorum's success in Iowa, last year Academy Awards, which were hosted by James Franco and Anne Hathaway, and the return of harem pants, go to your local art house movie theater and see All About Eve on the big screen. Pry your gay nephew away from his Glee karaoke CD and his copy of the Gaga Thanksgiving special because it's hurting his mind. We still don't know if Tony Bennett has ever recovered since that special, by the way. What the fuck was that? Instead, by this fictional gay nephew I've suddenly become very attached to and decided to name Skylar a ticket to see the Follies revival on Broadway or the film soundtrack to Bye Bye Birdie so we can learn to imitate Paul Lynde as Harry McAfee. It is a wonderful party trick to know a 12-year-old who can do a good Paul Lynde. Ladies and gentlemen, nostalgia is not a cure-all, but at the very least, it is a reminder that things, in some regards, did used to be better, and that people more talented than Brittany Murphy used to die before their time, and it was more tragic.